On March 15, 2023, the Portland Police Bureau received a missing person report for 25-year-old Rachel Henderson, daughter of former Deputy Police Chief Robert Henderson. The report was filed at the Central Precinct by Robert Henderson himself, who retired from the police force in 2021 after 27 years of service. Rachel Henderson worked as an investigative journalist for the Portland Tribune, where she had been employed since graduating from Northwestern University's Medill School of Journalism in 2020. Over her 3-year career, Henderson had published numerous exposés on corruption cases and organized crime activities in the greater Portland area, including a notable investigation that led to the arrest of 3 city officials on corruption charges. According to Robert Henderson's statement, his last contact with his daughter occurred at 3:17 a.m. via a phone call from her cell phone. During this brief conversation, Rachel mentioned discovering critical evidence related to her current investigation, though she refused to provide specific details over the phone. She agreed to meet her father for breakfast at Mother's Bistro and Bar on Southwest Harvey Milk Street to discuss her findings in person. Rachel Henderson failed to appear at the scheduled breakfast meeting. Her father's attempts to reach her went unanswered, with all calls going directly to voicemail. Robert Henderson drove to her apartment at the Carson Apartments, where he found her car, a silver 2021 Honda Civic, parked in its designated spot. The apartment showed no signs of forced entry or disturbance, but Rachel was not present. Her immediate supervisor at the Portland Tribune, Editor-in-Chief Michael Clark, confirmed that Rachel had not arrived at work, noting this was highly unusual for her. According to Clark's statement, Rachel had never missed a day of work without prior notice in her 3 years of employment. Her desk computer had last been accessed late the previous night. Detective Thomas Brown of the Missing Persons Unit was assigned to the case. Initial investigation revealed that Rachel's building security cameras captured her entering her apartment at 12:15 a.m. on March 15th, but no footage showed her leaving. Her keycard was last used to access the building's main entrance at that time. The security guard on duty, James Wilson, confirmed seeing her enter but did not observe her exit during his shift. Rachel's colleagues at the Portland Tribune described her as a methodical and fearless reporter who had recently been working on what she termed an explosive story involving local medical facilities. Her editor noted that she had become increasingly cautious in the 2 weeks preceding her disappearance, often working late hours alone in the office and being particularly protective of her notes and research materials. A preliminary search of her apartment by investigators revealed an organized living space with no signs of struggle. Her passport, wallet, and other personal identification remained in the apartment. Her laptop was missing, though her laptop bag and charger were found on her desk. The case was immediately classified as a high-priority investigation due to the suspicious circumstances and Rachel's profession as an investigative journalist. Given Rachel Henderson's work in investigative journalism and the nature of her last communication, Detective Brown initiated protocols for potential cases involving targeted disappearances. The department's organized crime unit was notified, and surveillance camera footage from the surrounding blocks was requested for review. On March 28, 2023, human remains were discovered in Portland's Northwest Industrial District. 2 maintenance workers, Eric Peterson and Miguel Rodriguez, found the remains while conducting a routine inspection of an abandoned warehouse. The building had been vacant since 2019, following the bankruptcy of its previous tenant, Northwest Storage Solutions. The workers immediately contacted Portland police after detecting a strong odor emanating from behind a series of heavy metal storage containers. The responding officers secured the crime scene, which was subsequently processed by the Forensic Evidence Division under the supervision of Senior Forensic Specialist Dr. Amanda Parker. The remains were identified as Rachel Henderson through dental records and DNA analysis. The body had been methodically dismembered into 13 distinct parts, with cuts indicating the use of professional-grade surgical instruments, including a surgical saw and precision scalpels. The dismemberment demonstrated extensive knowledge of human anatomy, suggesting the perpetrator had significant medical training. The medical examiner, Dr. Stephen Walsh, determined the time of death to be between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. on March 16, 2023, approximately 12 hours after Rachel's last known contact with her father. The cause of death was established as exsanguination due to precise surgical incisions. Toxicology reports revealed the presence of propofol, a surgical anesthetic, in the victim's system, indicating she was likely unconscious during the initial stages of the attack. The crime scene investigation yielded several crucial pieces of evidence. Traces of surgical latex were found, specifically from Protexis powdered surgical gloves, a brand primarily used in medical facilities. Residue from various medical supplies was discovered, including empty vials of surgical anesthetic and antiseptic solution. The warehouse space showed signs of careful preparation. A makeshift surgical area had been assembled, complete with proper drainage systems and evidence of professional-grade lighting equipment. The perpetrator had attempted to clean the scene with hospital-grade disinfectants, but trace evidence remained detectable under forensic lighting. Temperature data from a nearby weather station, combined with the warehouse's internal conditions, helped forensic specialists confirm the timing of events. The body had been stored in the location at temperatures that significantly slowed decomposition, suggesting the perpetrator had knowledge of preservation techniques. The discovery location was approximately 3.7 miles from Rachel Henderson's apartment and 2.1 miles from the nearest major medical facility. Surveillance footage from surrounding businesses was largely unavailable due to the industrial area's limited security coverage. However, tire tracks matching a vehicle with a wheelbase consistent with a cargo van were found behind the warehouse. Detective Thomas Brown noted the precision of the crime scene suggested this was not the perpetrator's first such operation. The level of medical knowledge displayed, combined with the professional equipment used, pointed towards someone with extensive surgical experience. The scene demonstrated elements of both careful planning and functional necessity, indicating the perpetrator was primarily concerned with efficient execution rather than concealment of the crime. The forensic evidence collected from the scene was immediately cross-referenced with similar cases in the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program (VICAP) database, focusing particularly on murders involving medical expertise. Local hospitals and surgical centers were contacted to begin compiling lists of personnel with the skills necessary to perform such precise surgical procedures. By mid-May 2023, the investigation team led by Detective Thomas Brown, who had previously worked with Robert Henderson in the Organized Crime Division, made significant progress in the Rachel Henderson murder case. The breakthrough came when digital forensics specialists successfully decrypted files on Rachel's work computer, revealing extensive research into Meridian Private Medical Center. The decrypted documents contained detailed information about suspicious hiring practices at Meridian Clinic. Rachel had compiled profiles of 7 missing women: Sarah Mitchell, 29, Emma Turner, 26, Maria Ramirez, 25, Jennifer Coe, 24, Lauren Phillips, 23, Diana Foster, 27, and Alexandra Petrov, 28. All disappearances occurred between August 2022 and March 2023. The common thread connecting these cases was that each woman had interviewed for medical staff positions at Meridian. Rachel's investigation notes revealed a pattern. The women were all highly qualified healthcare professionals who had recently immigrated or relocated to Portland. Their disappearances had been reported in different precincts and initially weren't connected due to varying circumstances. However, Rachel's research showed that each victim had their last known location within a 2-mile radius of Meridian Clinic. During interviews with the Portland Tribune staff, multiple colleagues reported changes in Rachel's behavior in the weeks before her death. Senior reporter David Morris stated that Rachel had begun using encrypted messaging apps and storing her files on secure drives. Photography editor Lisa Thompson recalled Rachel mentioning being followed on her way home at least twice in early March. The investigation team discovered that Rachel had submitted several Freedom of Information Act requests concerning Meridian Clinic's licensing and operational permits. Her notes indicated discrepancies in the clinic's reported medical waste disposal and pharmaceutical purchase records. She had also documented unusual patterns in the clinic's power consumption, which showed spikes during off hours. Detective Brown's team cross-referenced Rachel's findings with hospital employment records. None of the missing women appeared on Meridian's official payroll, despite records showing they had attended interviews. Further investigation revealed that the clinic had filed no paperwork regarding failed applications or rejected candidates. A breakthrough came when investigators located a former Meridian Clinic administrative assistant, Karen Watson. She confirmed that several of the missing women had indeed visited the clinic for interviews, but stated that all documentation of these meetings had been deliberately removed from official records under the direction of senior management. The investigation also uncovered financial irregularities at Meridian Clinic. Analysis of the clinic's banking records showed substantial wire transfers to offshore accounts following each disappearance. These transactions were disguised as medical equipment purchases, but had no corresponding delivery records. Digital surveillance data recovered from Rachel's laptop revealed photographs of late-night deliveries at Meridian's loading dock, showing unmarked vehicles and staff members moving medical-grade storage containers. The timestamps on these photos corresponded with the power consumption spikes Rachel had documented. By the end of May, investigators had established a clear connection between Meridian Clinic and the string of disappearances. The evidence suggested the existence of an organized operation, potentially involving human trafficking or illegal medical procedures. The investigation team expanded to include members from the FBI's Human Trafficking Task Force, and surveillance operations were initiated around the clinic's facilities. The pattern that emerged painted a disturbing picture. Meridian Clinic appeared to be using job interviews as a means of targeting specific victims. Young, qualified medical professionals whose disappearances might not immediately raise suspicions due to their transient status in the healthcare industry. By early July 2023, the investigation identified Dr. Marcus Stein, age 45, as the primary suspect. As chief surgeon at Meridian Clinic, Dr. Stein had established himself as a prominent figure in the medical community. He held memberships in the American College of Surgeons, the American Society of Transplant Surgeons, and served on the board of the Oregon Medical Association. His professional career included a residency at Mayo Clinic and a fellowship at Johns Hopkins Hospital. The breakthrough in the case came after executing a search warrant at Stein's residence. The 5,200-square-foot home, purchased in 2019 for $2.8 million, contained a fully equipped basement laboratory. Forensic analysis revealed blood traces matching Rachel Henderson's DNA on several surfaces within the lab. Additionally, medical instruments found in the facility tested positive for DNA belonging to 3 previously missing women: Sarah Mitchell, Emma Turner, and Maria Ramirez. The basement laboratory was equipped with state-of-the-art surgical equipment, including a transplant preservation system typically found only in major hospitals. Investigators discovered specialized organ transport containers and medical-grade refrigeration units. Documentation found on-site indicated connections to an international organ trafficking network, with detailed records of organ specifications and transport protocols. Dr. Stein's ex-wife, Catherine Stein, provided crucial testimony. During their marriage from 2012 to 2021, she noticed escalating behavioral changes. She reported frequent unexplained absences, often during early morning hours, and described finding surgical equipment in their home that wasn't associated with his regular hospital work. Mrs. Stein also mentioned unusual financial transactions, including large cash deposits and offshore account transfers. Professional background checks revealed that Dr. Stein had maintained surgical privileges at 5 different medical facilities across Oregon and Washington state. This access allowed him to operate without raising suspicion about his whereabouts. His position at Meridian Clinic served as a cover for his illegal activities, while his professional reputation deflected potential scrutiny. Investigation of Dr. Stein's finances uncovered a complex network of shell companies and offshore accounts. Banking records showed regular deposits ranging from $300,000 to $750,000 following the disappearances of each victim. These transactions were traced to medical facilities in various countries known for illegal organ trafficking. The evidence suggested Dr. Stein had established an efficient organ harvesting operation. His medical expertise enabled him to evaluate potential victims during job interviews, selecting candidates based on their physical health and medical history. The surgical precision used in Rachel Henderson's murder matched the technical skill level of someone with his training and experience. Analysis of Dr. Stein's electronic devices revealed encrypted communications with international contacts discussing merchandise specifications and delivery schedules. Digital forensics experts decoded messages that contained medical details matching the profiles of the missing women. The communication patterns aligned with the timestamps of victim disappearances and subsequent international money transfers. Surveillance footage obtained from various locations showed Dr. Stein's vehicle, a black Mercedes-Benz GLS 580, at key locations related to the disappearances. The vehicle was equipped with a specialized cooling system, likely used for organ transport. GPS data from the car's navigation system corresponded with the locations where victims were last seen. The investigation concluded that Dr. Stein had leveraged his professional standing and medical expertise to operate a sophisticated organ trafficking operation. His position at Meridian Clinic provided both cover for his activities and access to potential victims. The murder of Rachel Henderson appeared to be a direct result of her uncovering this operation through her investigative work. On August 12, 2023, law enforcement located Marcus Stein at an abandoned farm. The operation, coordinated between Portland Police Bureau's Special Emergency Reaction Team and FBI agents, began at 5:45 a.m. following a tip from a local resident who reported suspicious activity at the supposedly vacant property. The farm, registered to Shell Corporation Agricultural Ventures LLC, had been purchased through a series of offshore transactions traced back to one of Stein's aliases. The 15-acre property, situated in a remote area, featured a renovated barn structure that had been converted into a sophisticated surgical facility. During the initial approach, tactical teams surrounded the main building while FBI surveillance drones monitored the perimeter. Stein, alerted to the presence of law enforcement, initiated a confrontation. Armed with a modified Sig Sauer P226, he opened fire on the approaching officers, critically wounding Special Agent Michael Torres with a shot to the chest. The ensuing firefight lasted approximately 8 minutes. Stein, utilizing his knowledge of the building's layout, maintained a tactical position behind reinforced medical cabinets. After multiple attempts to secure his surrender, he was fatally wounded by SIRT sniper fire while attempting to access an escape vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The subsequent search of the facility revealed a fully operational surgical center concealed within the barn's renovated interior. The space was equipped with modern medical technology, including a Storz OR1 surgical suite, multiple anesthesia delivery systems, and organ preservation units. The facility maintained hospital-grade sterilization standards and had its own power generation system. In the climate-controlled storage area, investigators discovered 6 preservation units containing human organs prepared for transport. These included 4 kidneys, 2 livers, and a heart, all professionally preserved using medical-grade solutions. Documentation found on-site indicated pending delivery to facilities in various international locations. A hidden office area contained extensive records of Stein's operation. Ledgers detailed transactions totaling over $15 million, with connections to medical facilities in 8 countries. The documents revealed a sophisticated coding system for organ specifications and recipient matching protocols. Additionally, investigators found detailed profiles of potential future victims, all candidates who had recently applied for positions at Meridian Clinic. The property's security system included advanced surveillance equipment, thermal imaging cameras, and a cellular signal jammer. The facility operated on a closed electrical circuit, explaining why it had evaded detection through power consumption analysis. An underground diesel storage tank powered backup generators, ensuring continuous operation of the preservation units. Field analysis of the surgical suite revealed it had been recently used. Blood residue and tissue samples collected from the operating table matched the DNA profile of Lauren Phillips, one of the missing women from the original investigation. The forensics team also recovered surgical instruments matching those used in Rachel Henderson's murder. The farm's remote location and extensive security measures suggested it served as Stein's primary operations center. Evidence indicated that organs were temporarily stored here before being transported via private medical courier services to international destinations. A hidden helipad behind the barn suggested the use of private aircraft for rapid transport. During the property search, investigators also discovered a concealed basement area containing personal effects belonging to multiple victims, including Rachel Henderson's missing laptop. This evidence provided crucial links between Stein's organ trafficking operation and the disappearances of all 7 women identified in Henderson's investigation. After 5 months of intensive investigation, the task force comprising Portland Police Bureau and FBI agents concluded their initial investigation into the organ trafficking network operating through Meridian Clinic. The evidence conclusively showed that Rachel Henderson was murdered after uncovering the connection between missing young women and the clinic's activities. The investigation revealed a sophisticated criminal enterprise that extended far beyond Portland. Through analysis of records seized from both Meridian Clinic and Stein's farm facility, investigators identified an additional 12 victims beyond the original 7 discovered through Henderson's research. These victims, predominantly medical professionals aged 23 to 35, had disappeared between June 2021 and March 2023. Law enforcement executed coordinated arrests of 7 Meridian Clinic employees. Among those arrested were Dr. James Morrison and Dr. Sarah Blackwood, both surgical specialists who assisted in illegal organ harvesting operations. Administrative staff members, Patricia Wells, Robert Sanderson, and Michael Drake, were charged with conspiracy and evidence tampering. 2 facility managers, Thomas Green and David Parker, were arrested for their roles in coordinating victim selection and facility access. The investigation uncovered connections to similar operations in Washington, California, Nevada, and Arizona. The network utilized private medical transport companies and small aircraft to move harvested organs across state lines and international borders. Financial analysis revealed transactions exceeding $35 million over 3 years, with funds flowing through medical facilities in Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, and South America. Search conducted at Meridian Clinic exposed an elaborate system for identifying and targeting potential victims. The clinic maintained detailed medical records of job applicants, effectively creating a database of potential organ donors. Physical evidence recovered from the clinic included tissue typing equipment and organ preservation materials, matching those found at Stein's farm facility. When investigators fully decrypted Rachel Henderson's laptop recovered from Stein's property, they found comprehensive documentation of the clinic's suspicious activities. Her investigation had traced unusual patterns in the clinic's medical supply orders, staff scheduling anomalies, and irregular facility access during off-hours. She had also identified connections between clinic administrators and known human trafficking networks. The FBI's subsequent investigation expanded to include medical facilities in other states suspected of participating in the organ trafficking network. Several private surgical centers were identified as potential distribution points, with evidence suggesting their involvement in matching organs to wealthy international recipients. Henderson's murder proved to be the crucial factor that exposed the entire operation. Her meticulous research and documentation provided investigators with essential leads that might otherwise have gone undiscovered. The Portland Police Bureau officially credited her work as instrumental in dismantling one of the largest organ trafficking operations ever discovered in the United States. By October 2023, the U.S. Attorney's Office filed federal charges against 19 individuals connected to the operation. The charges included murder, human trafficking, conspiracy, illegal organ trafficking, and money laundering. Federal prosecutors estimated that the network had generated over $150 million in illegal profits since its inception. The case remains partially open as federal investigators continue to pursue international connections. The FBI's Transnational Organized Crime Unit has established task forces in multiple countries to track down overseas partners in the operation. Several key suspects remain at large, primarily individuals responsible for coordinating organ transport and distribution outside the United States.